Hey, what's up guys, Sandeep here, and in this video we will try to implement a client-side authentication in the shortest time possible. So as you all know that authentication is a key factor in any kind of applications you make, whether it be a large scale application or a small scale application. So I want to implement an authentication on the client side in this video so that you can replicate the same in your own project. So I've already implemented few screens for us to quickly go ahead and try to authenticate these screens as per our needs. So as you can see, I have named this small app as called House of Football, and if you click on leagues, this is another screen which shows the latest standing for each football club that is present. So in we have Bundesliga, we have Premier League, we have Serie A and La Liga as well. So here I have added a sign out button over here, which is not functional yet. We will all integrate with our authentication system. And then there is another screen. If you click on any of the football club, that will give you the list of details about that football club and the number of players and what are their characteristics, country of birth, position as well. So these are the three things that we have done. As you can see, I have already laid down the route. One is the home, and another is the standing layout and the team details route. So we will try to integrate the authentication system within this component. So as you have seen that we already have three different screens. So this is the first screen, which is our home screen, and if you click on leagues, it will take us to the our second screen, which is our the standings of each football club, like as per their leagues. So and if you click on another, like each football club, it will take you to the particular football club details. So this is another screen. If you click on back, it will take you to the standing screen. So all total we have all these three screens. So what we will do, we will try to put our authentication here and hide these two screens based on our authentication. So if a person is not authenticated, he won't be able to see this particular route slash leagues or any details of the team on this particular league. So once a person is already authenticated, he will be allowed to view this league. So currently what we will do is we will go ahead and look up what is the authentication method that we can use, which would be much easier, faster and quicker. So to set up the authentication service for our application, we'll be using something called Descope.com, which will provide us the authentication service and which we can use and set up our authentications in our client side much quicker. So if you want to use the same authentication method, follow me, just go to Descope.com, and once you land onto their website, you can read more details on them. For us, we will be using their authentication feature, which we will be using on our own application. So you can go ahead and sign up. Since I already have an account, I will just go and sign into my console. So once I land to my console, you will see this dashboard. Since I am already having an account, so I am seeing this type of dashboard. So what you will do to set up the authentication, will need to create a project. So once you click on create and just name the projects, for example, I will give House of Football and click on create. So it will create an project that we will be using. Click on consumer and click on next. So these are different sets of authentication methods that we can use. For now we will be using the social authentication and click on next. So for now I will be going without an MFA, but if you want you can choose MFA as well. So what I will be choosing here, I will be choosing the secondary method, so which will be this one, and if I click on next, it will be telling me what are the different screens and the validations that we can have. For example, sign in will allow me to do what, sign up will do what, and sign in or sign up will do what. So I'll click next and it will generate the whole project. Now here, if you see closely, you will get the component which we can use in our React application, which we will be going ahead and will be using just now. And if you are using somewhere in a web or a vanilla JS, you can use this which is script tag and all details inside it. For us, we will be using the React version, so we will be using the client side. Now if I click on authentication methods, here are the different sort of authentication methods that you can do. for example magic link and enchanted link, social auth, which we will be implementing in our own application. If you click on flows, it will show you the different flows that are active which you can use. So now we'll be implementing the authentication feature on our application. But before that, I just wanted to give you a quick demo on how the application structure is. So I have a route called home, which is nothing but basically the home screen that you see, which has the images of the clubs. To the right hand side, you will get the header with house and football. And here you have seen our login or sign up form. This is a placeholder where we will be implementing the form for Descope. And if you go on to the standing layout, inside the standing layout section, what we are doing, we are just calling an API. We are passing a token, authentication token that is required. Basically it's an API token for the API that we are calling, and we are getting the list of teams and we are displaying it on our UI inside a table. So and there is another screen, as you have seen this screen, which is the detail for each team. So this is this screen which is team details. Again, we are calling an API based on the ID that we have passed. We are supplying the authentication key to the API, and we are again getting back the data and showing the necessary details on our screen. So now that we have seen the application structure, now it's time for us to go ahead and explore the documentation. So just go to docs.descope.com. This is their documentation for the whole descope.com, and there are certain things that if you want to check out, you can always check out. For now, we will be going towards Descope flows, and here you can see to the right hand side, integrate your front end. We will click on that. Now here are the options. You can go with React, Next.js. For now we will be going ahead React. So the first step, as you can see, it is telling us to install Descope and React SDK. So we will go ahead and copy this, go ahead on your code base and install this one. Now that we have already installed this one, we will go ahead with a sign-in flow. Now here it is clearly written that wrap your authentic application with the Descope authentication provider, which is the auth provider. So what we will do, we will go ahead, and since we have this, so we have our main.tsx as our parent, which houses the app component. So what we will do, we will use the auth provider over here. So here is the auth provider, and we will close the auth provider, and why we will cut it and paste it below. Now inside the auth provider, we need to supply a project ID which is unique, so that Descope will understand that this is the ID of the project and it will help us to track. So where we will get the project ID? So for that we will be going over here to Descope console, click on the project, and here you can see the project ID. We will copy that. Again we will come back. Now since I am already using .env, what I will do, I will create another setup variable called white underscore app underscore project underscore ID. So I'll create this and I will paste my ID over here, and I will save it, restart the application. So I have restarted. Now our next step would be going ahead and importing this. To import it, I will do import dot meta dot env. Since I'm using white, so I have to import it like this. Now I will use white. I will copy the URL from the project ID and I will paste it over here. So now we have already set up with the auth provider, which we will wrap the whole application. So now we'll be implementing the form itself, as we have already implemented the auth provider. To implement the form, we will again go to their docs, and if you can see, so we have implemented this auth provider just now. And if you scroll down to the app section, here are all the list of activities or the things that you can do using Descope. But what we want is basically the form. So here you can see this is the Descope component and we want this. So if we'll go inside our component, and what we will do, we will just paste this and we will import the Descope from Descope SDK. Here is it. Now I will save it and we will check out if the form is coming inside our application. and you can see the form is coming inside our application. Now you must be wondering, where is this logo coming from? So one thing I will tell you before going ahead. So you can customize your style if you click on style. So if you see, I have already added a logo over here and the same logo is showing over here. So it is very much customizable, because you can, if I want to change my logo, I don't need to touch my code base. I can just upload the logo from here and it will depict in the UI component as well. And these two functionality are there that we have already opted for. Now where I got these two functionality, for example, continue with Google and continue with Microsoft. Again, if you go back to the console and clicking on flows, now if you see, there are different sets of flows. What we are using is sign up or sign in flow. If you click on it, you see this ID. Now if you copy this ID, which is the same ID that we are using it here. So if you want a different ID, for example, if you want only the sign up, you copy the sign up ID and you paste it over here just like this. So I've pasted the sign up ID and I will save it. Now we will go on to our UI and I will refresh. If you see, this is the just the sign up. Now sign up or sign in is not there. Now user will be able to just sign up and not sign in. So I will go ahead and command Z and I will authenticate user to do both. So what this will do, it will basically check whether the user has already signed up or not. If the user has already signed up, then they will be automatically logged in. If the user hasn't signed up, then they will be signed up. Now what I will do, I will open the console on the side by side just to understand what are the things that is happening. So here on success, as we can see, for now we are just console logging e.detail.user detail, and on error we are also logging the user error. Now for now what we will do, I will try clicking on this continue with Google. So once I hit the continue with Google, it will show you a list of Google accounts. Now for example, I will click on this account. Since I am not signed in, what will happen? I will need to check out. So now if you see that I am not signed in, since I'm not signed in, it is taking my name and it is telling me to sign up. So what I will do, I'll put my name and I will put my number. You click on verify, it will ask you for an OTP. So now that we have implemented the form as well as the sign up methods, so what we will do, we will try to navigate the user when user signs up or signs in. So if you go on to this form, this is the Descope component, and on success currently we are just console logging, but what we would do, we would navigate the user once the user has either signed up or signed in. So what we will do, we will basically import navigate. We already have the navigate. What we would do is, like, we use this navigate from React router DOM, and what we would do, we would tell the user that if you have already signed up, and if it's giving us a on success, what we would do, we will send the user to this route called leaks. Now let's test this out. So I will just click on continue with Google and I will select one of the methods that have already signed up. Now it should redirect me to the /leaks, which is currently happening. So yeah, we have successfully redirected the user once the user has signed up. Now that we have successfully added redirection on successful sign up or sign in of an user, now let's go ahead and protect this to route, which is /leagues, and if you click on any of the football club, it should show you the details. We need to protect these two routes so that if an user is not signed up, they won't be able to see this or access this two route. To do this, we will go inside our app._tsx, and these are the two routes that we will be protecting. So what I will be doing here is adding something called protected route, a function, and inside that function I will wrap this inside the children and we will try to do it. So let's go. So first of all, even to decide whether this two route should be shown or not, we need to get access to the user. I mean, we need to get access to that if the user is signed in or not. So first of all, we will go ahead. What I will do, I will import use session from Descope. So yeah, it has already imported, and here I will be using it, the is authenticated and is session loading. These are the two that I want to destructure from use session function. So now is authenticated will tell me that the whether the user is authenticated or not, and is session loading will tell me that whether the session is still in progress or not, if it's loading or not. So we will use this to protect these two route. For now, what I will do, I will go ahead and inside the utils I have already created something called protected route, and here I will start writing the function on what I need. For example, I'll do a function called protected route, and inside the protected route would be, we will be taking some arguments, something called is signed in, to understand whether the user is signed in or not. Next I want the children, which is that I will wrap with, and next I want the if it is loading or not. So what I can do is understand with is loading. So these are the three properties that I want. So what I can do now is I can check if it is signed in or not. So I will say if user is not signed in, and if it's not loading, means it has completely loaded, then what we would do, we would send the user to the home screen where user can like sign up or sign in, and else what we would do, we would return the children. So here what I would need to do, I need to import it. Okay, what I would do, I would import navigate from React Router DOM. Now what I am thinking is I would use navigate over here and send the user, or else what I can do instead here, I can return it because it's a function, and inside the function what I would do, I would use the navigate component itself from React, and what I would do, I would send the user to the home route, and I will state that yes, it would be replaced. Now this is yelling at me because it's TypeScript, so let's create a type for those. So interface, and I will use this protected route props here. Now we have already set up. Now I'll just export default protected route from this file, and we will now use this protected route inside app.js. So how we will use it inside app.js, what we will do, we would hit enter here and try to wrap this inside a protected route. So here it goes. So it will treat this as a children. Now I have wrapped this one as a protected route. I need to import it. So now I have completely imported it. It's saying that the children is missing. That's fine. Now here, now protected route, we need some props which we need to pass. One was the sign in, another was the is loading. These are the props that we need to pass. So I will copy this two and use pass the authenticated here and is session loading over here, and I will copy it and I will paste it inside this as well. Now I will quickly format it and I will save it. So now what hopefully should work is that our protected route should take the standing layout as a children and these two as a prop, which will get it from user session and which will getting from Descope. The user session should tell us that whether the user is authenticated or not, and if the user is not authenticated as per the condition we have wrote, it should navigate us to the home page and it shouldn't allow to visit or use that path. So let's test this out. So for example, I am currently logged in, so I will be able to, if I am clicking on leagues, I will be able to do that. So what I can quickly do, go ahead and do that. I need to implement a logout, so I will quickly log out and then I will start using this application. So I went ahead and cleared the cookie in order for me to test out the protected route functionality. Now in the application I have logged out. So since I have logged out, now if I try to go to /leagues, now you can see that I am being redirected to the home page because the authenticated feature is false. So I am redirected to the home page. Let's test out the other route as well. For example, league/teams/57. See, again we didn't, once we hit the route, we again came back to the home page because we are not logged in. So now in order for me to implement the other features, let's recollect and see what are the features we know. Here in the header we need to add the sign out functionality that we are missing out currently, and the name is also static, so we need to get the user details in order to show the name over here. And since we are already logged in, so since we need to also validate that if a user is already logged in and he is coming to the home page, he should be like redirected to the /leagues instead of showing the home page because the user is already logged in. So what I will do currently, I will go ahead and code this feature. So let's say if a user is already logged in, he shouldn't be seeing the home page. He should always be redirected to the / page. I mean the /league page, where is the standing page. So in the home page we will add the logic where we need to shift the user. Okay, so what we will do, we will basically use layout effect. We want the user to get logged out or shift to the another route. So for me to use this, there are couple of things that I will be needing again. So here to use it, I need to use is authenticated to know whether the user is authenticated or not, and is session loading. Both of them is equal to from use session, and this is by Descope again. So yeah, so now I will use is authenticated and is session loading as my dependency array, and inside this we're gonna check if is authenticated is true and there is not of loading. So basically session loading has completed and still is authenticated is true. Then what we will do, we will use the navigate and navigate the user to the /league. Now we will save it, and now we will try to see this functionality. Now I am not logged in, so you can see it is coming to this page, as well as if I go to /leagues, it will again shift me to this page because I'm not logged in. Now we will go ahead and click on this Google, continue with Google, and I will just log in with one of my account. Now once I am logged in, you can see it redirects me to the home page, I mean the league standing page. Now here if you can see, it is the /leagues. Now if I am going to this page also, I am being accessible because I am currently logged in. Now what we will try to do, we will test out that if I click on the, if I shift my route to the home page, it should shift me again to the /leagues because I am already logged in. Yes, so if you have seen this, I am trying to hit the home page and I am quickly shifting to the /league space. So this feature is also working properly. The now next thing we need to do ahead is like we need to implement this sign out feature, and also another thing that our header should always show to the users who are logged in, because our header has the functionality called sign out. So and it's showing the username, so it should always show to the user who is logged in. So we will go ahead and implement the sign out feature. So to implement the sign out feature, we need to go to the header where I have already created the header. So here is the header and here is the sign out button. So here we will use an on click handler, and inside this on click handler we will make the sign out function. So what I will do, we will do on click and handle user sign out. So this is the function that we will use. We'll go ahead at the top and declare this function, handle user sign out. And here what we will do, we will take from Descope, since import, what we will import, we will import the use Descope. We'll import the use Descope, and what is that we need from use Descope? So what we'll do, we'll need the logout functionality from use Descope. We'll import the logout equals to use Descope function. Now we will simply call this logout inside this function. So once someone triggers it, so we'll call the logout function. Now after we do the logout as well, it will be a static screen, but after if user gets successfully logged out, we need to shift the user to another screen. So what I can do is, it will, since it's an async operation, it will always return me a promise dot, then we'll call back arrow function, and here what we do, we will again navigate the user to a particular route. So here where we want to navigate the user, since if a user is logging out, he should be able to only see the home screen page, because that is what he will be allowed to. Rest all of the pages are user protected route, so he won't be able to access to the route. So all I will do, I would use the navigate, and I will do that. Now let's go ahead and test it out. So I will refresh the page, and here is the logout. So if I click on sign out, it is signing me out to this page as well. So if you can see that once I hit sign out, it shifts me to this page, which is the home page. Now again, if I go ahead and try to access /leagues, I won't be able to access it because I am not logged in. Now here in this header, I want to hide this header, because a person who is not logged in doesn't require to see these leagues as well as the name as well. So the next thing what I would do, I would hide this header. So let's go and code that out. So I will go inside my app. Inside my app, since I want to hide this header, so what I would do, I would check for some conditions where I can hide my header. Okay, so we have this header over here. So what I will do, I will conditionally render this header. So since we have this variable called authenticated, I would check if the user is authenticated and there is no session loading. So means the user is authenticated. So if authenticated is true and there is no loading, means the loading has been successfully done, then we will show this header. Now we'll sign up, save, and we will see the header is not showing currently. So what we will do, again we will try to log in, and I will test it that whether only inside the application it is showing, the header is showing or not. So I will click. Now if you see, the header is only showing inside, which is after logging in only the header is showing, and if I log out, the header won't be showing. So I click on sign out again. Now you see, we sign out and the header is not showing. So again, the header has also been done conditionally, whether the user is logged in or logged out. Based on that, we are showing the header. Now our next task is to, if I click on sign in again, and if I sign in, if you see on the header, there is one hard-coded value of hi and the name here as well. So I need to, once a user signs up and logs in, I need to get hold of the user detail. So how do I do that? So to get the user detail, there is something called user detail. So we'll again go back to the header and we will import something called use user. So this is the hook that we will import, and after that what we want the user detail. So user detail is equal to use user. So this will give me the detail for the user that is currently signed in. So here I have hard coded somewhere. Here there is the name. So what I would do, I would check the if user detail is true, then I would user is true dot email name. So I would take the name and I would save it. Now let's see if it works or not. See, now my full name is coming over here. If I want to do email over here, I could have done email as well. Here is the email. So this is how I would do. I'll check out the name for now, and here is it. Now if you see, the full-fledged application login system is kind of ready. I currently am doing this login or the authentication methods only for front end on the client side, so I'm not storing the auth token. So basically when you sign up or sign in, you will get an JWT token to your front end. You can store that token in your cookie, or you can send even to a server if you want to use a full-fledged authentication system, including the backend as well. So currently I'm just doing a front end, so I'm not storing anything anywhere. All I am leveraging the Descope library and using certain hooks on its sphere that the library provides, and based on that I am doing certain actions. So if you check now, I have done the full-fledged. If I'm going to /leaks, it won't allow me. Only and when I sign up or sign in, then only I will be able to access this route. It is very easy and very fast to use Descope in order to authenticate. So what is that we did? We implemented the form, we implemented the user details, we implemented the authentication, and based on all of these hooks that we used, for example, user detail to get the detail of the user, to log out we will use logout functions, to get authentication details we used is authenticated and is session from use session. So every hook you will get inside Descope. So if you are planning to use this Descope inside your own application, or if you're planning to add a authentication system in your own application, I would highly recommend you guys, you can use Descope. As you saw, it's very quick and easy to set up. And so if you want to know more about Descope, just go on to descope.com, and here you can learn more on how you can integrate Descope with your own set of apps. So thanks for watching and hope you have a great day.